I wish you all a very good morning, students. I hope you're all keeping well, you're all doing well, and studying as well during the week. So, here we are with another chapter for GK. That's our chapter number 3, Creating Beauty. It's Indian Art and Culture. Well, we all know that the intricate beauty is evident in our ancient Indian art and culture and commands a deep sense of awe and admiration to us, right? So, here in this chapter, let us explore more of these facts and fall in love with our heritage, right? Let's quickly look at this chapter. In this period, we'll cover our chapter number 3, our chapter number 4, and the question and answers so that we can complete this section of ancient India altogether today itself, right? So, the first one that you see here is the Pashupati seal, right? So, can you identify the seal and seal? This Pashupati seal describes or depicts Lord Shiva. He is surrounded by a rhino that you see. There are rhinos, there are buffaloes, there are elephants, and there's a tiger as well. He has worn a crown of horns, I'm sorry, and the people of the Indus Valley considered him as the Lord of Animals. So, Lord Shiva was considered as the Lord of Animals, and the seal depicts that in itself. Another type of seal that you see here is the unicorn seal. This unicorn seal was founded in Mohenjo-daro during the Indus Valley civilization. It is what? It is 29 seal and it is made up of fired cetate. The cetite is a soft stone that can be easily carved and becomes hard on heating. So this was carved on this type of stone and you can see the picture how this looks particularly. Now that we know about the seals, let us look at a little about the paintings during the time of Mohenjo-daro or the Indus Valley civilization. Just let's proceed. This is Chitra Sutra. What is this? Chitra Sutra is the oldest treatise on paintings in the world. It is a part of Vishnu Dharmotra, that's Purana. The proportion of human figures, use of colors, and depiction of different themes of life are some of the many aspects on which Chitra Sutra defines rules to help painters. Even in the picture that you see is a goddess. There are people here, there are men here, and the picture depicts different types of forms of life or themes of life. So this is a famous painting, and this is a part of Vishnu Dharmotra Purana that deals with the art of painting. Also, just a fact to remember, did you know that situated near Aurangabad, the Ajanta caves in and its art came into world's notice by 1819 CE, and this was out of rocks, and there are total of 30 excavations, 5 Chaityagas, one unfurnished cave, and the rest are viharas. So this was a small information about the caves of Ajanta. Now here is something really interesting and something about the poets. So Kalidas was one of the greatest Indian Sanskrit poets and dramatists of any era. Now even in our books, in our Hindi books you must have seen, we still have poems of Kalidas. He wrote 3 dramas, namely Abhinan Ashakuntalam, that's the recognition of Shakuntala. Another one was the Malvika and the Agnimitra. And the third one you see is pertaining to Vikram and Urvashi. He also wrote four poems, very famous ones, namely the Raghuvansha, that's dynasty of Raghu, the Kumar Sambhava, that's the birth of war of god Ritu Sambhara, description of the six seasons, and Meghaduta, the very famous one, that's the cloud messenger. The name Kalidas literally means the servant of goddess Kali. Here we have another place or a stupa located known as the Sanchi Stupa. The Sanchi Stupa is located in Indian state of MP, Madhya Pradesh. It consists of the relics of Buddha, very famous one in Madhya Pradesh. The stupa was erected by Emperor Ashoka in the 3rd century BCE. It was built as a low structure of bricks, raised terraces at the base, and was surrounded by wooden railings and a stone umbrella at the top. A dome shaped one you see here. This was built by Ashoka. This great stupa is 36.5 meters in diameter and rises almost about 16.5 meters high. Another important fact during the time of ancient India or the culture or the art form was the wax process. This picture that you see is a sculpture of the dancing girl, a very famous one found in Mohenjo-daro, and it is an excellent example of the lost wax process. What do you think this lost wax process is? Basically, this is a technique that was used by the people of the Indus Valley to make sculptures out of bronze. A layer of clay or wax was put and then it was heated. This was melted due to heat, and which was left behind was a hollow mold. Molten of metals was then poured in the mold, and after cooling, the clay was removed and the metal sculptures were remained. This is how this dancing girl was prepared. And the last information during this time is about the caves. Do you see how big this cave is and is also known as the Barbara Caves or the Barabar Caves? The Barabar Caves are located at a distance of 25 kilometers from the Bodh Gaya in Bihar. The caves are one of the earliest examples of rock cut architecture. As mountains are cut even to make highways, this was the oldest one. Built during the Mauryan reign, the stone mansons cut and archicized the stones, giving them a polish that exists still till date. Do you see this here? How finely this was cut? You can see that in the picture itself. This is how the cave looks. This was also the oldest rock cut cave in the period during in India. Now that we know about the art and culture in India during that time in ancient India, let us look at something that we can exploring the unknown, something that we've not even looked at or not even noticed. Let us see about the science or the Indian science and technology, which still is ever increasing. There are so many facts, such first that the ancient Indians have. are credited with, right? Let us know about them each one by one. Can you guess? Can you think who gave the accurate value for pi? 3.14? Is that Newton or is that Aryabhatta? Or who do you think invented zero as a number? Was that Archimedes or was that Aryabhatta again? Well, we have very, very sharp minded people in our India. Aryabhatta was one of them. So, Aryabhatta or Aryabhatiya was a book written by Aryabhatta, mentions that Aryabhatta calculated the value of pi up to 5 decimal digits. Can you believe? During that time, these scholars were again in. It was Aryabhatta who treated zero or shunya as a number through the number place value system, and this made the writings of numbers easy. Who do you think introduced the decimal system in maths, or how maths worked? Again, this was Aryabhatta. It was he who introduced the decimal system as well in the century CE. That's a 5th century CE. Aryabhatta also gave a direction to trigonometry, which we study today. We have various formulas. Trigonometry is the study of triangles, as the word itself shows, which we learn in higher classes. So, a good to know information again as we're learning about mathematics is in ancient time, mathematics was known as Ganit, and it is included arithmetics, geometry, algebra, as well as astronomy, astrology, and even trigonometry. At the University of Nalanda, Aryabhatta studied mathematics and astronomy, the science of all the celestial objects, space, and physical universe as a whole was studied during that time. Well, if you think Aryabhatta just knew maths, he was very good at astronomy as well. Ancient Indian astronomer Varhamihira discovered that the earth revolves around the sun. Indian astronomers were also the first to discover how to predict the lunar and the solar eclipse that you study in science and geography as well. Why do you think they discovered these? Well, sun, who do you think discovered these? The sun is the center of the earth or the universe. Earth is a sphere. Earth spins on its axis. Sun is the actual source of moonlight. All these were facts that we know today is all credits to Aryabhatta. Now that we know a little about science and space, let us know something about medicines. India has a rich old tradition, old medicinal properties that our plants had were all discovered in India. So, medicine and surgery was still started from India, and that was Sushruta and Charaka. So, Sushruta, the ancient Indian surgeon, described in his book Sushruta Samhita, this complicated surgeries done on the eyes, nose, and even internal organs. Charak, the Charak that you see, the ancient Indian physician, is the book Charak Samhita, who wrote about hundreds of diseases and advised their treatments with all our medicinal herbs and plants. So, 2000 years back, the picture that you see here is regarding or during that time. This was 2000 years back that the ancient Indians knew how to operate cataract from the eyes, remove gallbladder stones, and do plastic surgeries to fix even a broken nose. So we had a lot of learned people in ancient India and who started all this. And the books that they've written are the ones who help us even today to learn about science and medicines. Town planning, we've learned this in the previous or the first chapter as well, but let's know a little more about this. An important feature of the Indus Valley towns were the well planned houses. The picture itself will depict how beautifully and systematically this was built during the time. So, during the Indus Valley civilization, houses had thick walls, keeping them cool during summers. One room houses, as well as houses with many rooms, around a central courtyard were found. Indus Valley houses had side windows, and that let in sight and air. However, windows facing the main street were avoided, probably to keep out from dust and noise. Do you see? There were sewage plants, there were systematic houses built, people moving. Everything was planned in a very advanced way. The ancient Indians of the Indus Valley civilization were the first to build planned cities and with advanced technology of water supply and sewage as well, right? The last information we have is regarding power of powdered metals. So here is an interesting fact. Powdered metallurgy means making things with metal powders. The iron pillar of Mehroli or Meharoli in Delhi is made from powdered metallurgy technology. The fact that iron pillar was not or has not rested till date depicts the power of powder metallurgy used by ancient Indians to build this pillar. You still see the picture. This is the up to date picture here. This pillar of Meheroli is more than 1500 years old. It is still not rusted, it's as it is. So, this was our information regarding the time of Harappan civilization, Indus Valley civilization. Now that we're done with this, I would request you to open your textbooks to page number 14 and start writing the answers and making a note of this. Whatever answers are there, I have highlighted them in red and underlined them so that it gets easier for you to write them down. Moving on to the first exercise, that is your fill in the blanks. The world's first university was founded in 700 BCE in Takshila. Takshila is the answer. Second is Navgati is the Sanskrit word for dash. This is for navigation. The first Indian ruler to conquer a foreign power was dash. He was Chandragupta Maurya. The world's oldest known treatise of the art is Vishnu Dharmotra, that's in Purana. Fifth one is the record of Buddhist countries was written in 414 CE by Fahim. Moving on to match the following. First one you see is Hussein Sang. He reported on ancient Indian society. He is the one who reported or made a note or written the ancient Indian society. Sushruta, he was a surgeon as we just studied a while ago. Kautilya, that is Arthashastra, meaning Ashoka was the one who built the Sanchi Stupa. And Gyandev was the one who invented snake and ladders. Please make sure that you pause the videos and make a note of all the answers, stating if it's true or false. Megasthenes was a Greek traveler. Yes, it's true. Ancient India had trade relations with Italy. No, it didn't have it with Italy at all. The answer is false. Shatranj is a game that dates back to the Indus Valley civilization. The answer is false. In ancient times, the study of mathematics was known as Ganit. We've just learned that. The answer is true. The ancient Romans started to treat zero as a number. The answer is false because that was started by Aryabhatta and we started treating this as number first. Followed by MCQs, that is our next question. The root of most languages spoken today is Proto Indo European. Malavi, Malavika Mitra was a drama written by Kalidas or Kalidasa. Third one is Varahi Mihira. What was he? Was he a surgeon, an artist, or an ancient Indian astronomer? He was an ancient Indian astronomer. Fourth one is Pashupati was worshipped as a god by whom? Which civilization? It was the Indus Valley civilization. Fifth one is diamonds originated where? Well, we know that's in India, right? Later on, it was found in Africa. And moving on to the last part, I've not put down the pictures here. I've just made a note of the answers. So, Vasco da Gama is the first answer. If you're referring this to your textbooks, you will find this on your page number 1515. So the odd man out is Vasco da Gama because Newton, Dewey, and Copernicus, all three of them are mathematicians, and Vasco da Gama is an explorer. Second answer is Alexander the Great because he is the only ruler. Fahane, Sang, and Megasthenes, all these are travelers to India. Third one is Takshila because Takshila is the only university. Rest Sarnath, Mehrauli, and Bodh Gaya all are monuments. The last one you see is Ashokastam. This does not belong to the Indus Valley civilization. Rest of them, that's the Mohenjo-daro man, unicorn seal, and the sculpture of dancing girl, all these belong to the Indus Valley civilization. I hope you've got answer to all the questions and you've made a note of it. With this, we end this our section number one, and we'll start with our next section for GK, and that will be in the next period. This will be learning about the India that you live in. I hope you enjoyed this period. Have a good day, children. Take care.